Let me tell you something that I have said on stages, in boardrooms, in interviews, and in conversations with women across this country. Women who are brilliant and accomplished and who are changing the world in ways that leave me genuinely in awe. And yet, so many of them still feel this low hum of anxiety when the subject of retirement investing comes up. And I get it, I really do. Because here's the dirty little secret that nobody in finance likes to talk about. The system was never built with us in mind. The language, the jargon, the acronyms, 401k, Roth IRA, pre-tax, post-tax, required minimum distributions. It can feel like someone deliberately designed it to confuse you, to make you feel like you need a finance degree just to make a basic decision about your own future. And that feeling, that overwhelm, it has cost women collectively billions of dollars in wealth that they never built because they put off the decision or handed it off or just felt too uncertain to start. I am not here for that. Not today, not anymore. So let's talk about it. Let's actually talk about the 401k versus the Roth IRA, what they are, what they mean for your life, your money, your future. Not in theory, not in textbook language, in real human terms. Because this isn't just a financial decision. It is a decision about your freedom, your independence, your ability to live the life you want on your terms when the time comes. And that matters. That matters enormously. First, let's talk about why this is even a conversation worth having. Here is a number I need you to sit with for a second. Women retire with about 2/3 of the savings that men do. 2/3. And they live, on average, longer. So not only are we arriving at retirement with less, we need that money to stretch further. It is a math problem with very real, very human consequences. Women making impossible choices in their 70s and 80s about whether to pay for medication or food. Women who worked hard their entire lives suddenly feeling financially dependent in ways they never expected and never wanted. This is why I care about this. This is why I started Ellevest. Not because investing is fun, though honestly, once you get into it, it kind of is, but because financial security is the foundation of everything else. It is the thing that lets you leave a job that's making you miserable. It's the thing that lets you walk away from a relationship that isn't working. It's the thing that lets you say yes to opportunities and no to things that don't serve you. Money is power, and I will not apologize for saying that out loud. So, 401k versus Roth IRA. Let's go. The 401k. Your employer's gift to you. Seriously, don't leave it on the table. A 401k is a retirement savings account that your employer sponsors. That phrase, employer sponsors, is important because it means this isn't something you have to go out and find on your own. Your company sets it up, you opt in, you contribute, and the money gets invested for your retirement. Now here is the part that I want you to really hear, because it is one of the closest things to free money that exists in the financial world, the employer match. Many employers will match your contributions up to a certain percentage of your salary. Let's say your employer offers a 3% match. That means if you put in 3% of your salary, they put in another 3%. You contribute $3,000, they contribute $3,000. You've just doubled your investment before it's spent a single day in the market. That is a 100% return before a single stock moves, before a single interest rate changes, before anything happens at all. And yet, and this still breaks my heart a little, there are people who are leaving that match on the table, not taking it, walking away from what is essentially a raise because they haven't gotten around to enrolling, or they feel like they can't afford to contribute, or they're just not sure where to start. If you take nothing else from this conversation, take this. If your employer offers a match, contribute at least enough to get the full match, every single dollar of it. This is non-negotiable. Now, beyond the match, 401ks have some genuinely impressive characteristics. The annual contribution limit, the amount you're allowed to put in each year, is substantial. We're talking over $20,000 a year for most people, and even more if you're 50 or older. This is meaningful because it gives you the ability to sock away serious money in a tax-advantaged account. And over time, the compounding on that is extraordinary. Here's how the tax piece works. With a traditional 401k, your contributions come out of your paycheck before taxes are taken out. This is huge. It means that every dollar you contribute goes in at full strength without the IRS taking its cut first. If you'd normally pay 20% in taxes on each dollar you earn, saving in a traditional 401k means you're putting a full dollar to work instead of 80 cents. That difference, compounded over 20 or 30 years, is not small. It is life-changing. The trade-off, because there is always a trade-off, is that when you take the money out in retirement, then you pay taxes on it. You're not avoiding taxes, you're deferring them. And whether that's a great deal for you depends on something that nobody can know for certain: what your tax rate will be in retirement compared to what it is now. If you expect to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement than you are today, and many people are because they're living on less income, then deferring taxes via a traditional 401k makes a lot of sense. You get the tax break when it's worth the most to you, and you pay a lower rate later. But here is where it gets interesting, because there's another version of this account that I want you to know about. The Roth 401k. Same account, different tax logic. Some employers also offer what's called a Roth 401k. Same contribution limits, same employer match structure, but the tax treatment is flipped entirely. With a Roth 401k, you contribute after-tax dollars. The IRS takes its cut first, then the money goes into your account, grows over time, and when you pull it out in retirement, it's tax-free. Think about that. Tax-free growth, tax-free withdrawals. Every dollar that's been sitting in that account for 30 years, appreciating, compounding, growing, all of it comes out without Uncle Sam taking a piece. Now, this does mean your contributions hit a little harder today. Because you're putting in after-tax money, each contribution takes a slightly bigger bite out of your paycheck than a traditional pre-tax contribution would. So you feel it in the short term. But if you're early in your career and you're in a relatively low tax bracket now, and you expect your income and therefore your taxes to be higher in the future, a Roth 401k can be extraordinarily powerful. You lock in your current lower tax rate on money you're putting away now, and it grows into something much larger without ever being taxed again. The question of traditional versus Roth really comes down to this. Do you want your tax break now or later? If now, traditional. If later, Roth. And honestly, there are real arguments for both, which is why for many people, the answer is some of each. There are some things about 401ks in general that are worth knowing on the other side of the ledger. You typically have fewer investment choices than you'd get if you were managing your own account. The plan has a menu, and you pick from it. The fees on some 401k plans are higher than they need to be. And once you hit age 73, the IRS requires you to start taking money out whether you want to or not. These are real considerations. But on balance, if you have access to a 401k with an employer match, use it. Full stop. Now let's talk about the Roth IRA and why I love it. A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account, meaning you open it, you manage it, it exists entirely outside of your employer relationship. This distinction matters more than people realize because it means your retirement savings are fully portable, fully yours, not tied to any company or any job. And like the Roth 401k, contributions go in after taxes, so the money grows tax-free and your qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. The mechanics are the same in that sense. But there are a few things about the Roth IRA specifically that make it genuinely special. First, investment flexibility. When you open a Roth IRA, you typically have access to a much wider universe of investments than most 401k plans offer. Individual stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, REITs, the full landscape. This means you can build a portfolio that is actually tailored to your goals, your values, your risk tolerance, your timeline. You are not limited to whatever menu your HR department negotiated. Second, flexibility on withdrawals. This one surprises people. With a Roth IRA, you can withdraw your contributions, not your earnings, just the money you put in, at any time, for any reason, without taxes and without penalties. This gives the Roth IRA a quality that very few retirement accounts have. It can function as a kind of emergency backstop. I'm not suggesting you treat your retirement account as a savings account. Please don't. But knowing that your contributions are accessible if your world falls apart, that matters. That's real. Third, no required minimum distributions. With a traditional 401k or traditional IRA, you have to start taking money out at a certain age, whether you need it or not. The government wants its tax revenue. With a Roth IRA, there's no such requirement. If you don't need the money, it just sits there and keeps growing. This has beautiful estate planning implications as well, because the tax-free nature of the account can extend to the people who inherit it. Now, there are constraints. The annual contribution limit on a Roth IRA is substantially lower than a 401k. We're talking $7,000 or so for most people, a bit more if you're 50 or older. That's not nothing, but it's not going to be your entire retirement strategy on its own. And there's an income limit. If you earn above a certain threshold, your ability to contribute to a Roth IRA starts to phase out and eventually disappears entirely. This catches some high earners off guard. If your income is growing rapidly, it's worth paying attention to where you fall relative to those limits each year. So, which one should you actually choose? Here is the honest, real answer. It depends. But not in the frustrating, wishy-washy way that "it depends" usually feels. It depends in a specific, actionable way that I can actually help you think through. Start with your 401k if your employer offers a match. Contribute enough to capture the full match, every single dollar of it. That's your first move, always. After that, if you're eligible for a Roth IRA, consider maxing it out next. The investment flexibility, the tax-free growth, and the withdrawal flexibility make it an incredibly powerful tool, especially if you're earlier in your career or if you expect your tax rate to be higher down the road. If you've maxed out your Roth IRA and still have more capacity to invest, great problem to have, by the way, go back to your 401k and keep contributing. The higher contribution limits make it a great second home for additional savings. And if your employer doesn't offer a 401k at all, then a Roth IRA is your starting point, full stop. Open one, start putting money in. Even if it's not a lot at first, the habit and the time in the market matters more than the amount, especially early on. Now here's something else I want to say because I think it's important. These two accounts are not enemies. They are not an either-or binary choice where picking one means foregoing the other forever. For many people, the smartest move is to use both, and to use them strategically, thinking about which dollars go where and why. Having both a traditional pre-tax account and a Roth account gives you what is called tax diversification. It means that in retirement, you have options. You can pull money from different buckets depending on what makes sense tax-wise in any given year. You're not locked into one source of income with one set of tax consequences. That kind of flexibility when you're 70 years old and making decisions about how to fund your life is worth a great deal. The part nobody talks about enough. Can I take a moment to zoom out? Because I think it matters. The reason the 401k versus Roth IRA question trips people up isn't usually because the concepts are that complicated. It's because we have been culturally conditioned to believe that investing is something other people do. People who are smarter, more financially savvy, wealthier, more confident. We treat the stock market like it's an exclusive club, and we've somehow internalized the idea that we need to be invited. We don't. And I want to be very clear. The biggest financial mistake is not choosing the wrong account. The biggest financial mistake is not investing at all. Time is the most powerful force in investing, and every year you delay is a year of compounding you don't get back. I have seen the math on this more times than I can count, and it never fails to take my breath away. A woman who starts investing in her 20s versus one who starts in her 40s will have dramatically, substantially, profoundly different outcomes at retirement. even if the one who started later contributes more per month. You cannot make time. You can always make money, but you cannot make time. So whatever account you choose, 401k, Roth IRA, both, the thing that matters most is that you choose something and you start today. Not next month, not when things settle down at work, not after you pay off that one thing. Today. Open the account, make the contribution, set up the automatic transfer, and stop thinking about it. Let compound interest do its job while you go live your life. Because here's what this is really about, underneath all the acronyms and the tax brackets and the contribution limits. It's about the woman you're going to be in 20, 30, 40 years. It's about whether she has options, whether she has freedom, whether she is building her life on a foundation that she built herself with her own money, her own choices, her own power. That woman deserves your attention right now, especially when other things feel more urgent. The retirement account that feels abstract and far away today is the foundation she will stand on tomorrow. And she is absolutely worth building.